after this amazing international shorts block. And yes, Linda, we're delighted to be joined by you here. Can you hear us okay, Linda?
Yes, I can hear you okay.
Oh, fantastic. So, Linda is the ridiculously talented writer, director, producer of Never Look Back in Norway. So, we're so happy to have you here. And I think, first of all, we can start with a big round of applause for all of these films. I thought it was an amazing international block. So, that's us. Here we are, everyone's clapping away, which is fantastic. We were also supposed to be joined by the on-off team, but I'm afraid they're having a series of load sheddings, kind of planned blackouts at the moment in South Africa. So they're unable to access the platform, but they're here in spirit. And I think you'll all agree that was an amazingly powerful, just a crazy film that we just watched there. So yeah, lots of love for that as well, which is fantastic. So this is a virtual Q&A. So we're really excited to hear the audience's thoughts and questions for you, Linda. So if you want to be doing that, you just go to the box up at the top right of the screen, input your questions, and then we'll ask Linda everything about the making of the process and everything you've got to ask. So while we get settled in, while people start asking questions, I would love to hear more about the background of the film, and what inspired you to make it.
Yes, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So this is the first film that I ever made because I come from photography. I'm a quite well-known photographer in Norway. I'm half Algerian, half Norwegian. So for a long time, I wanted to make a movie and try to use the feeling that I have as a photographer in the film. So the film is based on a true story about my own upbringing on the east side in Norway. I lived in an area with quite a lot of social problems. Um, so it's, yeah, mostly about me living with a sick mother and not daring to tell my friends about it. And in the end, I had to kind of have interaction with my best friend to tell her. So it's a very short. It's only 7 minutes. Uh, Also because it's the first thing I ever made. I like spent my own money on it. I produced it myself. I did everything myself in a way. So yeah.
Great. We love a one woman show here, directing, writing, everything. And I think that's how, it must have been such a learning process for you as well. For it to be your first film is incredible. I think it's an amazing, polished piece of work that's so powerful. So, congratulations. So, how
Thank
did you
you.
transition from photography to filmmaking? What was that like for you?
Sorry, what did you say? How did I find that?
Transition from being a
Yeah.
photographer turned filmmaker. What was that like?
I think it's a lot of photographers that goes into film. You have like, for example, Anton Corbin in the States that made Control. He's like a quite famous photographer. I think it's an easy transition because you're very used to thinking narratives and also visuals. So in a way, I think as a photographer, you already kind of trained your eyes on the photography part. But of course, then I have to train myself to work with actors. But I worked quite long in documentary photography, so I'm quite used to being with people. And I have a very kind of documentary approach to film. Like one of my favorites, or I have many favorite directors, but um, I like the ones that works a bit like off script. Like you have a script, but you let your actors be a bit free. But of course, we made this film in one day. And
Wow.
yeah, because I had money and I researched the cinematographer quite well because it had to be somebody that could adopt my expression. So, sorry, now I kind of lost track of what I was saying. But yeah, no, it was quite a lot of troubles because we were filming for one day. And the main actor that was supposed to play me was the other girl in the film, but she kind of freaked out because we were kind of a big team. And so we but she's beautiful. She's such a lovely girl. They're only 13 and they had never played anything, so we've been practicing for some months. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna play both of them in each part because I didn't know that she would manage to go on the whole day. And at one point, we had to choose the other one. So it was like a lot of problems happening that day. But yeah, I think the girls also were okay, like in those switched roles, and I think they did really good to be like first time ever acting. I kind of found them on the street because they looked like we did as children. And the one that was supposed to play me, the other one, she's also from Algeria. So it was like a perfect match in a way. But also
Wow,
very,
yeah, that's lovely.
exciting to, I felt like I did the hardest thing first, like to work with non-professionals and also they're 13, so they're quite young, but I think all of us learn a lot from that experience. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the questions actually we've got. What was it like working with child actors, especially the fact that it was their first film, your first film? That's amazing. But such emotional subjects and also so personal to you as well. How did you approach your directing?
So we practice for like almost half a year, like every Sunday. And then because I'm a photographer, I also do some of the filming when we practice. So that made me kind of practicing being a director, and they could practice being actors. And I really like to work with people, and I get very close to people that I work with also in photography. So I felt like we got a good connection, and just like practicing different, like I was playing around with them, not only practicing what we were going to do in the movie, but like different techniques, like yeah. So it was kind of learning by doing for all of us.
Definitely, and all your hard work and rehearsals definitely paid off. It's so polished, lovely, excellent. We've got
Thank you.
another question. So, what part of the production process did you enjoy the most? And can you see yourself moving into more production roles and creating more films?
Yeah, I I don't really like the production role that much, so now I have a producer. Like after I made the movie, I have a really good producer now. So I'm making a new film. We're applying for funding now, and so now I have kind of a team. It's going to help me a lot. But the thing I learned from producing it myself is kind of all the roles in film. So now I won't take anything for granted when I start to work with other people, because I kind of know how stressful everything is. And also the day we were filming, I like had control of everything. I like made a list, like what everybody was supposed to do and where everybody was going to be, and kind of being in total control over your own film is a big learning process. And I, of course, understand it's not possible to work like that. So I'm very grateful now to have more people around me.
Great, that'll be amazing. Well, we can't wait to see the next project. So, I wonder when it came to writing and kind of developing this script from your entire life, how did you distill it down to just a 7 minute script? You know, choosing the your own personal story and inspired by your real life.
So I made actually a longer script. I made a script for a feature. I wrote that for 4 years. And now, so my shorter movies are part of the same universe as the feature. My next short movie too is like part of that universe. So um, in the end, when I had made everything, you can see the short features as something that building on the longer one. So that's why it wasn't so difficult to write it, because I was already in that process. I really like writing a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't know if that answered the question,
Yes,
but yeah.
wow, absolutely, and exciting to see what's next. Yeah, as we say, we'd love to see and hopefully screen it next year. The next parts of this. So
I hope so. For the next one I'm filming, because it's a dream sequence in my next movie, so I will film that myself. I'm very much into analog photography, so I'm filming with the Super 8 camera. And then I have another film photographer that's filming the rest of the film, but it's a little bit of a collaboration. It's really hard when you're a photographer to not be on the camera. But I'm trying to practice, because it's, you can't do the directing and the photography. Or if you have Soderbergh, he can do all of that. But I think that takes a lot of practice to do both.
eh, when you were
Sorry.
directing, oh,
Sorry, I
Have
can't
I
hear you.
been?
Yeah.
Oh, did it
Now I can
mute
hear you.
me? Yeah,
I can hear you.
sorry. I wonder, you've obviously got some really personal experiences, but really universal themes and experiences you've got in the film. I wonder, what are you hoping the audiences take away from it?
Yes, I feel like even though I work personal, I hope, as you said, that is universal themes, and I feel like a lot of teenagers are struggling in some way, and sometimes films can help you to see that you're not so alone in your situation, or yeah, and also the power of friendships, right? And especially those female friendship that we have as young, like how important those are, or not only as young, but in general, female friendships, like the close knit ones, they are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And it really shows it in that film. It speaks volumes. So, and what you said, there was lots of challenges in the process. No wonder with your own directorial debut, these actors their debuts, but obviously all came so well. What was the most rewarding process part of the process for you? What did you enjoy the most?
I mean, uh, I the day we were filming, I think I was so happy because I wanted to make a film for so long. And since I had planned it so well in a way too, I was just like, it was so incredible to work with the professional team. And I just knew that, oh, this is what I want to do. Like, I was so happy. And then the other thing that's been very rewarding is that since it's my first movie, I didn't even know that you could send it into festivals. So when I got a producer, she's like, oh my God, this is good. Like, let's send it into festival. And it's been taking out it's so many festivals that wants the film now. So that been kind of very rewarding because I never even thought about that when I made the film. I just wanted to do my best as a first timer.
Great. And where else will it be screening then after today? Where else? Which other festivals has it been selected for?
Yeah, I'm going to Sweden next week. It's called Uppsala Festival, and it's been to New York Indie Short Awards and yeah, festival in Berlin and one in Norway. Yeah, different ones. And I'm very
And
happy to be part of this one. I really like the it's a female and women festival. That's one of the yeah thing. I just feel like it's too little female storytellers, and it's the time to do it now because the world are changing, and I think yeah, just to have the courage and just do what we want in film because we really need female perspectives on life. If you see films in general now, it's like 90% made of men, and then what we are seeing and the narratives that we are feeling is really seen from a male point of view, and it's really time to change that.
absolutely, you're preaching to the converted here. This is why we have the Topaz Film Festival. It's so important and so important to show stories like yourselves and have. We've got actually got a question quite relevant to that about: are you going to keep more female crew in your future projects?
Yeah. I mean, in general, I don't pick people because they're female and male. I will just pick the best, but somehow that tends to be female in my world. So I don't go after like I gonna have female crew, but in general, I think it's a lot of good females out there, and in the end, I think that's what I'm gonna end up with. I mean, the film photographer is also female. She's amazing, and yeah, and also my producer is female, and yeah, so I think so.
And a winning ingredients, yeah, definitely. It seems like you've got a great crew together. So we've got one final question. So in Norway, do you see there are fewer? What is the situation in Norway for kind of female in the industry? You mentioned there about the wider kind of 90%. Is that the case in Norway? Do you find, or you've obviously found
Yeah, I wish because we're of course we're kind of the one of the most developed countries when it comes to gender roles, but I we're still behind. It's still men getting more fundings to film. But I generally all over the world, I feel like we're in a change right now, and females we have to kind of be a little bit brave and take our place because it's going to change. And I think the world is so open now to see differences. So we have like a lot of grants we can apply for now that's for females, or they want more women in film. Um, but I still think it's a long way to go in Norway, because in a way they're saying we want more female in film, but I will say, like, I'm here, give me the fucking money so I can do it. So I will see what's happening, but I think we still have a long way to convince that it's going to be as good as what the men are making. But I
Well,
mean,
you've got
if Norway is not changing, I don't know, because we should be further in Norway. Mm.
Well, you got a virtual round of applause for what you were saying there. I totally agree. And this is, as I say, why we created this film festival. It's all about getting more women directors, producers, actresses, every part of the process together so we can all network and create the films that we want to create. So, speaking of that, we've got our virtual coffee shop that we can all go to now after the screening. So, all you need to do is click on the button below and we can join and still discuss, network if you've all got time. And before returning, we've got our animation short starting at 1:30. So yeah, we'd love to see you for a wee virtual coffee there. And yeah, in the meantime, but before obviously, in case you can't join us, Linda, we just want to give you another huge round of applause for such an amazing film. I think everyone even will admire it even more knowing that it's your first project, first time actors, everything. It's just an absolutely incredible project, which no wonder it's now going to travel around the world with you. So we're excited to hear how it goes and excited to see your next projects. So
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me. I really am enjoying your festival. Mm.
fantastic. It's our pleasure. Great. So we'll see you all. I think we'll, if you click on the button, we can all go for a wee coffee and then hopefully join you all again for the animation shorts at 1:30. Cheers.